and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about the movie that was just released today, the 2021 movie starring Nicolas Cage, Willy's Wonderland. Written by Geo Parsons and directed by Kevin Lewis, this movie stars Nicolas Cage as our film's silent, nameless protagonist as he is thrust upon the misadventures of entering into Willy's Wonderland. He's just driving down the road minding his own business. His tires get a flat. He has to get new tires. They don't accept cards, so in order to pay this off, he's given an opportunity to clean up the place overnight where he's locked in, and it's basically a Chuck E. Cheese type establishment. This is not unfamiliar territory. Five Nights at Freddy's is obviously a very popular video game franchise. I've never personally played them much myself, just a few minutes here and there just kind of to get a sense of it. But that's generally the ilk that we're talking about, is in this decayed, decrepit husk of what used to be a children's fun time venue for birthday parties. It comes complete with the cavalcade of animatronic characters, including Willy the Weasel. And there's more than meets the eye when the animatronic characters go on a murderous spree and face off against Nicolas Cage as he's trying to clean up the place alongside some teenagers that are trying to burn the place down. They know of the evil within, and they wind up going inside, and they're kind of a bit of a part of the story as well. All right, so if you've kicked this movie on, you generally know what to expect. You know what you're looking for. You're looking for Nicolas Cage battling in a horrific fashion against animatronic puppets. And the real question is, does this movie deliver on the fun time promise that it makes? And I am here to say, absolutely, and then some. I've talked in some reviews about dessert movies, and this is a perfect example of it. There's really not a whole lot of nutrition to this in terms of a storyline or character development, but it's just fucking fun all the way through. It knows exactly what it is, and it doesn't ever try to be anything else. With keeping the protagonist silent and having an obsession with soda pop and pinball and adhering to a rigid break schedule with his watch and so on and so forth, there's just a whole lot of really fine, detailed nuance to what could have ordinarily been a fun idea, but reality would have made it boring. See, when we're talking about a guy doing battle with animatronic robots, that's a concept, and that's all it is. And it could have had all the entertainment value to last about 10 minutes, and then the rest of it could have been filler, or at the very least, just trod over itself in well-worn territory until you wonder why in the world this was actually made into a feature-length movie as opposed to a short film. And fortunately, this movie actually manages to bring in enough external elements, know when to ramp things up and tone things down, and have that kind of tempo going so that it always stays fresh, it always stays entertaining, and the concept never gets stale all the way through to the end credits. Everything about this movie just worked, in my opinion, at least to the concept of fun. From the obscene lighting schemes that occur when things start ramping up to the musical numbers that show up out of nowhere and just provide a delightful overtone to the manic action going on within. And that's why I have no reservation about giving this movie a perfect 25 out of 25 in the intent category of my scoring system. This achieved everything that it set out to do, and it did it masterfully. It didn't really need to have any lore, but it developed the lore nonetheless, and it was, vapid, but it was at least plausible enough and believable enough that you were able to at least sufficiently buy into it and roll with it in terms of the story arc. It at least provided some context to the plot and provided a little bit more substance and structure than just man beats animatronic characters over the head with a mop handle. It didn't need to do that, but it did, and it did it really well. And as far as Nicolas Cage's performance in this, that's another draw that people are going to be coming into this movie expecting a wackadoo film like Mandy. And I'm actually kind of pleased to say that that really doesn't happen here. His character in Mandy was fine. That movie didn't work for me nearly as much as it did for a lot of other people, but that's all right. Difference of opinion is A-okay in my book. But I'm actually a fan of a more subdued Nicolas Cage. I think one of his best performances that he's ever put out there was an adaptation. And I'm really glad that this really isn't a subdued character necessarily, but it is focused on where he's at in the moment. This movie didn't call for a character that was Nicolas Cage going apeshit bonkers all the time. It was a character that called for a smoldering level of badassery that just really didn't give a shit about anything other than performing the job that he was set there to do, and not man nor beast is going to get in his fucking way. He's going to clean that place. Speaking of which, this actually kind of worked for me on an oddly satisfying level as well. For somebody that I enjoy watching watching YouTube videos of car detailing and so forth, to actually watch him clean this place as well as he did was kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of an interesting little element to it that I found, well, endearing. So would I recommend this movie? Absolutely and wholeheartedly. If you're in the mood to watch Nicolas Cage go up against animatronic characters, then this is absolutely the movie for you. And if you're not, why are you even looking at it in the first place? This absolutely delivers what it promises, and I cannot recommend it enough. This is actually one of my most fun, favorite movies of 2021 so far. And I really strongly encourage people to go watch Willy's Wonderland. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you in my next review. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.